Hey guys, I'm Alan Kavorkov from BeTheClaw.com. Thank you for joining me once again. I have recently received a complete set of Santa's reindeer. These come from the National Entertainment Network, also known as NEN. This is a Sugarloaf branded set of Santa's reindeer. You may have seen these guys before, but they are back for this holiday season. Definitely very good quality plush, nice and soft. With fuzzy necks, and Rudolph here has a flashing nose. If you press on the front leg, his nose flashes, which is really cool. What's nice about them is that they're pretty small, so they should be fairly easy to win, but at the same time they're not going to last very long, so make sure to get out to your Sugarloaf machines as soon as you can and see if you can snag these guys. The size is a bit of a downside, has a bit of a downside as well, because they're, you'll see in my video, I'm going to put them in my machine and try to win them. You'll see that I was trying to go for the body, which gives you a nice clamp, but you'll see them falling out just like that. It's definitely one of those things that, you know, it looks like it would be easy to win, but it's actually just a little bit more challenging. So what you want to do is make sure that you grab at least one of the legs. As long as you can do that, they should stay in the claw pretty well. You can definitely grab around his neck. Some of the guys have larger antlers, which may help help you keep the deer in the claw. But at least in case of Rudolph, which I'm sure many of you will be going for, trying to win, he doesn't have long antlers, so grabbing him by his head is not really going to work. So you'll definitely want to grab at least one of his legs here. Grabbing two legs, probably not the best idea, because it may not allow the claw to close entirely, in which case it just won't be able to hold it, unless you have a super strong claw, and most of them are not. But aside from that, you know, grabbing by the butt, again, not a good idea. It's just going to keep falling out. There are some instances where it will work if he's very close to the prize chute. You may be able to grab him, and he may just tumble into the prize chute. So you can use the legs to reposition, and that's one of the good techniques. If it's not in the right position, or if it's a little bit wedged in, try to grab one of the legs and just lift him up and, you know, move him around a little bit to get a good position to grab around the body and one of the legs. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have in terms of tips. I'm going to put them in my machine and do 50 plays and see how many I can win. So let's check it out. Okay, so I have all the reindeer arranged in my machine in various poses. I have 50 plays on the clock. Let's start with Dasher. He's probably the easiest one, the closest to the prize chute. I should mention that these guys, even though they may look easy to win, depending on their positioning, if the claw stabs a prize that is next to it, you may not be able to grab the one that you're trying to go for. So let's see how this works out. 50 plays is obviously $25, and I don't anticipate to be able to win all 9 of them, but let's see how many I can get. This guy, I can't grab him by his head, so I'm gonna go a little past his antlers and see if I can grab him around his body, around his back. So let's take a look. The claw went around one of his antlers, so that's probably why I couldn't get him. So I'm going to try to avoid that. Just the way the claw is positioned, he's not the easiest one at the moment. But try to make sure that the left claw finger does not go in front of the antler, or it doesn't stab his head. That's kind of hard to do. Hard to avoid. We are. The tag is out of the way. We have slightly better access to his body. We may have to lift him up by his back hind legs just to get him in better position. And again, here I'm going to try to avoid going in front of his front legs. Yeah, that might be okay if I can grab him around his back leg, but there are other things around him. I may have to use his front legs to lift him up a little bit and get him in a better position. Let's see if I can do that. Maybe. Well, that could work. Or not. I'm just trying to lift him up by his front leg, but it's a little too small and smooth. So maybe no. I generally don't like to spend that much money on one guy, but let's see if I can stabbing. Maybe. Yep, that's exactly what I was trying to accomplish here. Just use one of his paws to move him out of his initial position, and now we have, as you can see, we have better access to his body, and there's definitely some space underneath him that should allow us to get a pretty decent grip around his back. Just make sure to avoid the front legs, because that will make it harder to get a good clamp. So positioning directly over his back and trying to avoid the front legs, just like that. See, there's a good clamp, and we got him. Okay, the next guy would probably let's see, let me try this one. He's probably not this is Vixen, I believe. He's probably not the easiest to get here, but I may be able to maybe stab his head and lay him on his side before trying to grab him. And sometimes you might be able to grab him by his head, just depending on how the claw wraps around, because the antlers do help a little bit. So I have to make sure to avoid the right rear prong going around. Well, that's kind of sort of what I was hoping to do, but yeah. Well, that worked out a little better. I wasn't really expecting that, but the claw kind of leaned over, and now I have pretty decent access to his body. Unfortunately, there is something underneath him, so I may not be able to get a good grip around the whole thing. There is a little bit of space under his head, so I may be able to get him by his neck, so I'm going to try that first. So we'll get the claw all the way to the right, and see if I can get around his head, or around his neck first. That's sort of kind of what I was hoping for, but his legs, I may have to go I'm going to go just a little bit further, so I may be able to grab him around his neck and at least move him closer to the center. There's a good clamp. And he falls in. Of course, under normal circumstances, if you have if you're playing a Sugarloaf machine, which is a lot larger, it's not going to fall right into the price chute unless it's pretty close to begin with. But at least you would have been able to get him in a better position. Now we have much better access to Rudolph all the way back there, and I think we should be able to get him by his back. There's definitely a good amount of space underneath, so I'm hoping that we can get a good clamp around his back there. Just like that. Looks like he may have stabbed something, but it's still clamped. He slipped out, but we still should be able to get him. Just have to make sure not to get his front legs here. Yep, good clamp. All prongs are together. There's no reason to lose him, except he once again slipped out. His might want to try going toward the front of his body, so that his head doesn't. Obviously the head is one end of his body is heavier than the other, so that's part of the reason that he fell out. So we might want to try. The neck seems to be a better option here with the antlers helping. So let's try to lay him back down and see if I can grab him around his head. I don't think this is going to work because there are things underneath that will prevent the claw from closing entirely, but it's worth a shot. There's a purple minion underneath that's getting in the way, but we may have to go just a little bit further and try to get a clamp around his head entirely and avoiding the legs at all. Good clamp around his head, that was perfect. Let's see if we can, I'll have to try again, but maybe not go quite that far. Didn't clamp this time, so we'll keep trying. Now his butt is definitely available, so I may try that to see if I can reposition him. As a matter of fact, let's do that now. He missed him entirely, which is not what I was hoping for, but I just have to go a little bit further in like that. Not much of a clamp because we stabbed somebody, but I think it's a good strategy, so we'll keep trying. Just have to get the claw a little bit more to the right to avoid stabbing Blitzen here. Let's see if this will work. And Blitzen got stabbed once again, but hopefully in the next couple of tries we'll be able to move him just enough to... that should be better. We got a clamp, and I think we may have access to his body here now, so let's try that first. I'm not sure. Alright, well, we may be able to get him around his body now, possibly. Although, may be able to push him forward a little bit and get him to lay in his... use one of the claw fingers here to reposition him. No, I'm going to run out of time, so let's try to grab him first. Whoop. Alright. Just going to grab him by his leg. Okay. Rudolph is being a little stubborn here. Not a clamp here, so it's not going to work, but next time I do believe his body is accessible. Let's see. Come on. Nope. No clamp at all. Alright, tell you what, let's let's move to Dancer here and get back to Rudolph at a later time. We still have about 24 plays. Let's see if we can... Now he's going to be a little bit more difficult because he's just sitting upright and there's no access to his body at all. But I'm hoping maybe I can stab him, and let's stab his face if we can, or get the claw to do this so that we can try to stab him a little bit more and try to get him to lay down on one side. Oh. Well, I'll tell you what. Who's this? This is Trevor. I mean, Donner. And we may be able to get him now that he's kind of not wedged in there anymore. Let's see. Maybe? Not quite. So we'll keep trying. That might be a good clamp. Yeah. Nice. Alright, let me get these guys out of the prize chute since they're starting to stack up like Tetris. Alright, so we have 3 out of 9 so far, which isn't bad, but I definitely would like to see a few more. So, yeah, that's Cupid here. He has a pretty decent neck area that we can grab around since there's not much underneath. So let's try that. Yep, that's a good clamp. You can see it right there. We got him. Yeah, as you can see, as long as they're positioned well and accessible, they are very easy to win. It's just a matter of finding one that's either positioned well or getting them to moving them just so that they are sitting in a better position. In a larger sugarloaf machine, you'll probably have better luck with that. My machine is kind of small, so space is a problem, but it should definitely give you an idea. Let's try for Blitzen here since he is kind of lonely. I'm going to try to grab him by his body. There's a little monster there that I won from Robbie, the King of Claws, and he may be a problem. We may stab him in the mouth, but let's try it. And he did get stabbed, so I may have to go a little bit more to the right. Not sure if it'll work. No. I'm afraid Blitzen may be a problem, so we may have to either leave him be or maybe try for his head just one time and make sure we're not missing any good opportunities. Try this. Tell you what, let me try one more time. I'll go forward just a little bit. Yeah, the stabbing isn't helping at all, so let's not worry about him for now. Let's go back to Dancer and see if his body is a little bit more accessible now. Well, not a bad shift. Let's try to grab him by his back and maybe just lift him up a little bit. Not likely to win him on the first attempt. I may have to try his head now. Yeah, the goal here is to close the claw around around his body and win him just like that. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm not going to complain. Alright, I think Comet is next. Up, he is a little too close to the glass, so he may be in a kind of a dead zone, but maybe do a swing technique. That may work pretty well, but there is somebody else in the way. Let's try without the swing technique, see if we can get around him. Yeah, the other guy is interfering with my attempt. Let's see if whoever that is, let's see if we can grab him first. That leg was not helping. We did lift him up a little bit, so there's now some space underneath, so we may be able to get him. Just need that one of the prongs to go in front of his, right around his belly, and the other two around his back, and we may have success. Don't swing, no! Alright, it didn't swing in the direction that I was hoping for, so I'm going to have to not go quite as far to the right. Let's try that. Since it swings, ooh, now we got Comet in the way. Yeah, that's going to have to be a little bit more precise. A little bit more precision is required. Don't swing! Oh, nope. It's definitely gettable, it's just the claw doesn't swing in the way that I would like it to. Maybe I'm not going to go quite as far. We're getting there. I only have 6 attempts. Alright. Alright, this time I may have to go a little bit further. A little farther in. Let's see if we can grab around his body. Come on, around his body. No. Okay. Maybe a little bit to the right. Yeah, what you don't want to do here is get the prongs around both of his legs. One would be okay, but both, it doesn't allow the claw to close sufficiently. So I'm going to try to move a little bit more to the right and try to avoid the front paws. It's not far enough. Try again. That's better. Ooh, perfect clamp, so we may be able to dig them out. I tell you what, guys, I only have one play left, and I don't think he is gettable at this point. Yeah, I think we're pretty much, I think we're going to end up with 5 out of 9, which isn't too bad. 5 for $25 is, I'd say, fairly reasonable. Okay, let's see if I can get any sort of clamp around his back. It's not likely to work because his head is wedged in there under Comet, but it's definitely worth a shot. I'm trying to avoid stabbing the snail. Oh my. Yep, that's it. Well, guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you found it helpful. Definitely a good quality plush to try to win, and should be relatively easy. So head out to your local Walmart or Kmart, or wherever you have Sugarloaf machines, and see if you can win some of these guys. If you have any pictures or videos of you winning, please don't forget to share at facebook.com/BeTheClaw and visit our website at BeTheClaw.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.